Hello, summer lovelies. This is the first part of what I wore last fortnight. I was at my friend's the weekend, so I couldn't do my normal video. So this is going to be the Sunday video. So this is going to actually literally, I've divided them up into week 1, week 2, because I'm filming this before I've finished the second week. So I'll start with what I wore the other week, 2 weeks ago. And then the next one will come out on Wednesday. So if you want to see what I wore for the second week, then come back on Wednesday evening. It will be replacing my normal vids that I do on a Wednesday night. So let's start with this. I haven't worn this for ages. This is very nostalgic for me because this is a dupe of a perfume I used to wear probably right towards the end of college, beginning of university. And I keep this around because it is so nostalgic. It doesn't really feel like me anymore, but this is Alamoda and it's called Real. And this, I mean, you might be able to tell actually just from the colour and the style. It's looking very bright here, so you can't really see what it says, can you? Let me push it into the corner. This is Real by Alamoda, but yeah, sort of invisible, the writing on it. It's a dupe of Ralph from Ralph Lauren. So that's a perfume that I still appreciate the profile of, but it's just, I mean, it kind of reminds me of someone I went to university with as well, because she started wearing this perfume as her signature scent. And so it sort of stopped feeling like my perfume once someone else was wearing it all the time. But the thing is with this, sorry about my phone going off. I hope that isn't very annoying. The thing about the original Ralph and what I like about Real from Alamoda is it's a dupe. It's very much a cheapie. So it's not as strong, but also it's not quite as shampoo-y as the original Ralph. I did have, as an adult, maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, I tried it again, the original Ralph, and it was just too shampoo-y for me. It was like overwhelmingly shampoo-y, and I just don't cope very well with that because that normally means there's a kind of sharpness in there that's a bit headachy for me. But this dupe, Real, is like lighter, fresher. It still very much smells like Ralph. Now, how do you explain what Ralph smells like? I'll give you the notes, but I don't entirely know. I wonder if this is just one of those things where it's such a recognisable profile to me that I'm like, well, that just smells like Ralph. But what the hell does Ralph smell like? It's a fruity floral, it's shampoo-y, smells fresh. Almost aquatic, especially this dupe. So this is tangerine, mandarin orange, Japanese loquat, which kind of looks like a tiny baby apricot or something, but I'm sure that's not, I don't know, that's like the flavour. Or the scent, I should say. Lychee, osmanthus and cassis, that's all the top. Middle notes, linden blossom, magnolia, freesia, basmati rice, boreana, jasmine and rose. Base notes, musk, white iris, sandalwood and amber. I'm going to look at the votes. So tangerine and linden blossom are at the top. I feel like, I want to say that the Boreana, or whatever that is, might be, and probably the osmanthus, I would put a little bit higher. I don't smell this really and think of linden blossom, but I am of course looking at this dupe. So if I were to look at actual Ralph, so if you guys remember, this is Ralph, a classic. We've got apple leaf, Italian mandarin, Japanese osmanthus in the top. Middle notes, yellow freesia, magnolia and boreana. Boronia? I don't know how to say that. My brain is just putting in letters. It's just adding letters into that for some reason. Base notes, musk and white iris. I think this is a very mandarin-y, apple-y, osmanthus-y, bright, fresh, pretty perfume. But I think the Boronia, I think probably, because this is slightly unusual smelling. I feel like I've only ever seen that in a Kylie perfume, that note. But anyway, I think this is just a very fun, light. It almost smells a bit sporty to me nowadays, because I feel like when this came out, must have been late 90s, Ralph. I feel like it was just kind of trendy to have fruity floral, slightly shampooey, almost slightly sporty perfumes. So yeah, anyway, I've been talking about this for quite long enough. So another one that's I'm pretty sure is a dupe, to be honest. I think all of this house's stuff is a dupe. This is from Women's Secret. I'm always so torn about this because there's something about it I really like. The original as well, the original profile. But sometimes I find it a bit headachy. This is Women's Secret. I think this one's called Oh So Fresh, or no, Oh It's Fresh. It normally has a round lid and a little bow, but this is a tester bottle, so I just chucked a lid on that I found that in my collection that fit it. I'm so sorry if you can hear everything that's going on outside. I don't know why on a Monday night it's so loud tonight. Anyway, I think this is a dupe of Acqua di Gioia. Is that Valentino? I'll check. It smells very much like it, and it also smells a lot like the Larive dupe that I had that I got rid of because there was a bit of that tarry aroma chemical. I find the original Acqua di Gioia extremely chemically. I find it very screechy and tarry. Like, I get all of the aroma chemicals that really, like, I perceive in a very, very bad way. They are in that perfume, and then it's quite salty as well. This one, it's still salty, but I find it's almost maybe a little bit more floral, and I found it a little bit more gentle. I quite enjoyed wearing this, but it's weird because I keep bringing this profile into my collection and then getting rid of it, you know. It's kind of in and out, and I'm keeping this one because I know that sometimes I do actually crave it. But Acqua di Gioia is a weird one because it's something I really like, but I don't find it easy to wear. And I think there is something in every version of this that I've smelt that is just a little bit screechy. Anyway, the notes in Oh It's Fresh from Women's Secret. Top notes of lemon, bergamot, green notes, sweet orange and ginger. Middle notes of jasmine, orange blossom, rose, apple, freesia and red fruits. Base notes musk, violet, sandalwood, C notes and amber. So Acqua di Gioia is from Giorgio Armani. That is the thing that is voted as smelling the most like it. Apparently Queen of Seduction by Antonio Banderas also smells like this. There's a Betty Barclay one called Tender Blossom that's supposed to smell like it. The Collection Azure Balkan from Jeanne Arthis. Is it Balkan de Mediterranean? I'm going to click on it. Yeah, this one. This is also a very good alternative to the original Acqua di Gioia. It is far less chemically. I just decided that out of this one and that one, I preferred this one. So like I said, I've had a lot of versions of the Acqua di Gioia profile. Aqua from... it's difficult because I think in a way Aqua from Larive is the best version because I think it has the most recognisable brown sugar notes, but it also has a bit of that tarry aroma chemical, so it doesn't work for me personally. But if you're not sensitive to that aroma chemical and you want an affordable version, then Aqua from Larive, I think they've really nailed that brown sugar note in a way that I'm not sure many of the other dupes have. So yeah, I mean the current formulation of Acqua di Gioia is just truly smells like poison and like, oh, it's just no good for me. Oh yes, this beauty. Someone, and I'm so sorry that I've forgotten the name of the Instagram person who was talking about this, but it reminded me and I was like, I need to wear this again. Just so beautiful, just one of the best from this collection. 4711 Aqua Colonia Starfruit and White Flowers. Can you actually see anything in this video today? I'm filming it at night, so I feel like the little light that I'm using is just absolutely blinking everything out of existence, isn't it? And I'm not even sure if it was in focus. Sorry guys, what a mess. I don't have time to refilm this though, so I'm afraid we're just going to have to carry on. So 4711 Aqua Colonia Starfruit and White Flowers. They only tell you there's starfruit and white flowers in this. White flowers could be a whole array of things. However, I'm absolutely sure there's a lot of jasmine in this, and it genuinely reminds me of the kind of jasmine that's in Lust from Lush, except it's not as indolic as that. And it's tampered down definitely with a bunch of other very spring-like white flowers. it's just such a beautiful fruity floral because it is sort of watery, clean, quite feminine, this one to me. And it smells like springtime because it smells like blossom. It smells like beautiful spring flowers. And then the Starfruit is just deliciously juicy, fruity, lovely. So I think it's one of their best ones. I absolutely love it. This is one that I always sort of considered getting a backup of it, but I probably don't need, just because of the amount of perfumes I got, I probably don't need a backup of it, but I do love it. And there's also something about this. I mean, there's so many perfumes now that I've smelt that have a little hint of this, but the one that I've got that specifically, I think they share something, is my Guess Dare. Although that is a very musky perfume compared to this. This is not like a thick musky perfume. It's very light, watery, fresh. But yeah, so also Lanvin Marry Me. Lanvin's Marry Me, I think, is really quite similar to this, and that's why I didn't keep that one. But yeah, there's just something about it. Oh yeah, and that's the other one, Cassandra Roses Blanches. Also, for some reason, smells a bit like this. So it's like a specific profile. JLo Blue Glow. Again, that also smells a bit like Guess Dare. It has something in common with this. I wonder if they've just got a very similar jasmine or something running through it. But anyway, I so highly recommend Starfruit and White Flowers. It's so, so good. Another one that I mean, I don't need to recommend this. Everyone talks about this. It's just one of the best... Yeah, one of the absolute best celebrity perfumes you can ever buy. Still from Jennifer Lopez. So good in this weather. It's fantastic. One of my favourite bottles. One of my favourite tea perfumes. I say it every time. It smells like a cup of cold tea to me, but very specifically it smells like jasmine tea. With a very big slice of very crisp green apple. Like, it's definitely got a slightly acidic smell, I think, in this, which is much more obvious when it's colder weather. When it's hotter weather, it's just heavenly. This one I can smell on myself all day. I've said it before, if I'm going to have a meeting at work, if I want to smell chic but I don't want to smell overwhelming and it's warm weather, I wear Still, because I think this is an extremely... I just think it's I nearly said glamorous, and that's not really what I mean, but it is chic. It's the smell of a woman who's well put together, in the same way that I feel about, like, people talk about white tea from Elizabeth Arden like that. And that one, again, there's something tarry about that range quite often that I can't quite deal with. I like the white tea range. I think I would happily recommend it. But personally, for some reason, there's something in those perfumes I find a little bit hard to wear. This is my version of a well put together woman in like a crisp white shirt. Do you know what I mean? Like turning up and being a boss, but not being not being an arsehole, basically. Like, I just think it's magnificent. I love this perfume. So there's Earl Grey tea, white pepper, mandarin orange, apple and rice in the top. The mid notes are jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, honeysuckle, orange blossom and rose. Base notes, pepper, musk, sandalwood, iris and amber. My husband really likes this one as well. But yeah, I just feel like I'm wearing a delicious like apple green tea or something. Like, it's so good. You do get a bit of the citrusiness, but I just got to sniff it one more time. It's so good. I love it. But I never need to use quite as much as I do when I wear like green tea or something, because Still is quite strong. So, I don't know. It's just such good value and it smells so good. Another one. Everything so far I've got here is super affordable. I'm about to switch that up. I've got a couple that aren't so affordable, but this is just a full cheapie, and this is always my first recommendation when someone asks me for a watermelon perfume. Adidas Get Ready. I think it's still the most obvious, just true sort of watermelon perfume in my collection. I have a lot now. I just gave away my Claire's Accessories watermelon body spray to my friend for her daughter, just because I've now got so many watermelon things. Like, it was getting a bit out of hand and I needed some space back. But I also think that one is close to being like a very obvious good watermelon. If they still make that, the Claire's Accessories watermelon body spray in the, like the green bottle with the cool green lid, then I really recommend that. And actually it lasts for quite a long time because I sprayed it on to show my friend, and I could smell it literally all night, even though it's a body spray, so it's kind of incredible. But Get Ready, this was my first watermelon, or at least it's the first watermelon perfume I had that was very obviously watermelon. And wearing it again, like, it's so good in summer. It's fun, it's sweet, it's not full Jolly Rancher, but it does have a slightly candied sweetness to it because it has, I think it's grenadine. Yeah. So you've got top notes, watermelon, grenadine and orange, middle notes, sugarcane, lotus, and then base notes, musk, cedar and amber. It's fantastic because it's not shampooey. Now, I have another from this range that was one of the few that I hadn't already tried many, many years ago. And I will talk about that when I talk about the haul that I got it in. But I've tried a lot of these Adidas range in these bottles, and they are all way too shampooey for me. This is the only one that isn't. I think it's the best from the range, and it's just such a good watermelon perfume. I loved wearing it. I've been talking about this one for years because I just think it's so good. Like, it's really good. But yeah, so if you want a super affordable one, I think I saw this on Direct Cosmetics. You can get it in the box or out of the box, and it's like maybe £5 or something. Such a bargain. I love it. And then I wore another watermelon. It was a watermelon day. I said that I would try this one again in warmer weather because I got it back into my collection. Wearing it again, I wish I'd kept the bigger bottle, but to be fair, I don't really need the bigger bottle anyway. This is Glam from Kim Kardashian. I just got this little one from Fragrance X. And I just added this because this was a little tester bottle. So Glam is basically, I mean, it feels like it's very much based on the original Kim Kardashian perfume, which is a gardenia and tuberose perfume. I think it's maybe in the kind of fracas realm, not entirely, but in that kind of general area, the original Kim Kardashian. This is a very watery, aquatic, fruity version of that perfume. Now, that perfume, especially at the time, I do still think it's quite animalic, but it was too buttery for me. A buttery gardenia or a buttery tuberose can be a bit of a struggle for me. However, I have trained myself to quite enjoy that now. So I have a few perfumes that are buttery, and I've been taking baby steps into buttery florals until on Sunday just gone, you'll see this in the next video, I wore a buttery tuberose perfume, like a proper one. And I was like, I really enjoy this perfume. I think it's lovely. And I really enjoyed wearing this. Now, I've said this actually about quite a few of the old Kim Kardashians. I've got 3. I've got Femme Fatale, Pure Honey, and Glam. And they are all so much better in hot weather, like to the point where I don't really enjoy them in colder weather, not in the UK climate anyway. When it's very warm to actually very hot, those perfumes smell really good, and this smells really good. This is, it doesn't say that there's gardenia in it, but there absolutely is gardenia in this. There's no doubt in my mind. So the notes on Fragrantica say watermelon, red berries, citruses, middle notes, tuberose, star jasmine and rose, base notes, musk, orris and sandalwood. But there's definitely gardenia. It's the classic tuberose, gardenia, jasmine, buttery. Like, it's that classic kind of trio with those beachy florals. But then you get a really nice juicy watermelon in the top, which then very much blends in with the citrus and the berries. So it kind of just leaves this sweet, watery, juicy fruit throughout the whole wear, with a very lovely kind of gardenia tuberose situation going on. So I really like Glam. I really enjoyed wearing it this time round, and I did wear it on quite a hot day in London. So if you can find this, they don't make it anymore. I don't think they make any of the Kim Kardashian perfumes anymore, but if you come across it for a good price, I think it's really nice. I feel like it's like the aquatic watermelon version of something like Mambo from Liz Claiborne. I feel like it's got that same fun, beachy florals, but with like a bunch of fruits. So yeah, it's just very pretty. Really enjoyed wearing it. Oh yes. And then this guy, which is one I found in my box when I was going through all my samples. I had forgotten where I'd put this. And I just fancied trying it out again. And I will keep this just because it's only a small bottle and I've already got a dent in it. Look, this is Miller Harris Lost in the City. They re-release this every summer, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they sell it all year round. But again, you can't really see any of these things anyway. Never mind. So I've just got this little 15ml, Lost in the City. I don't know, this is like... I'm going to read you the notes and I'll just tell you how it comes across to me. So top notes, blackcurrant, bergamot and angelica. Middle notes, rhubarb, geranium and rose. Base notes, Earl Grey tea, musk and amber. I get a huge amount of rhubarb in this. Now, I know lots of people don't get quite as much rhubarb, but on my skin, the rhubarb is so strong, and I really like that about this because I don't really have other rhubarb perfumes. I think I've probably got rhubarb in some perfumes, but not anything that actually truly smells strongly of rhubarb. This has a beautiful rhubarb note in it. It also really makes me think of tomato leaf, and it also really smells like there's mint in this to me. I went and had a look at the Miller Harris website, and I couldn't find anything there saying that there's like tomato leaf and mint, but it really smells like that to me. And very strong rose geranium note here. Like, I feel like those are sometimes quite similar florals, except geranium I find to be quite dry. But I liked wearing this, but it's an interesting one because I feel like I like wearing this, but I don't necessarily love reapplying it to wear for like a really long period of time. Like, by the time it hit the evening, I wasn't really craving respraying this. Because it does have like a tartness and a sharpness, which in, again, hot weather, I don't think I would wear this if it wasn't hot. But it really reminds me of a few things. So it definitely has a tiny bit of a crossover with La Belle Ceviche Liberty Fizz, which I've said many times before was my signature scent for a very long time. It doesn't have the magical raspberry. It doesn't have the same level of sweetness or smoothness that one did. It's not like a replacement, but it definitely feels like it's in the same area in terms of profile. It's also in the same area as YSL in Love Again, which is, again, those are both perfumes that have tomato leaf in. It's in that same realm. That also, after La Belle's was discontinued, became a signature scent of mine, so I still have that. I know it well. But the main thing that I think this really smells like is Hedonist Cassis from Victoria Minya, which also was briefly a signature scent of mine. Again, when Liberty Fizz disappeared, I was trying to find things that kind of smelled like it. But the Victoria Minya one is even drier and crisper than this one. But yeah, so Lost in the City, I do think it still retains the thing that I have a bit of an issue with Miller Harris, which is that I do think they use some kind of aroma chemical that I find a little bit headachy. Like, there's just something that they use, and I don't know what it is, but so many of their perfumes I do find a little bit headache inducing. And this one is no different. Like, I think if I was in the wrong mood, this would give me a full headache. Because smelling it today, I'm like, the profile's nice, but yeah, instant headache. Better on my skin though, for sure. But it is also very pretty, and it's not as expensive as Victoria Minya. And it's probably... You can probably get it for a better price than the YSL in Love Again, but I do think that one's a little bit better balanced. It's not quite as sharp. Like I said, I love the rhubarb in this. I think it's absolutely lovely. But weirdly, I get mint. I get quite a lot of mint, actually. I couldn't believe there wasn't mint in it when I checked it again. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about in this vid is this. So this, I don't know how to say this without sounding ridiculous. This is Les Nereides. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, guys. But this one's called Rue Paradis. I got two pen sprays. I got this one and another one that's like a smoky vanilla, even though, to be honest, you don't really smell much vanilla in that one. But this is mimosa. And it's very pretty. And it's probably not one I need to keep. And let me explain myself. I'm going to put it over here in the corner. Get in the corner. And then, yeah, spread those out. So the notes in this, quite simple, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, top notes, star anise. Middle notes, mimosa. Base notes, sandalwood. Now, I really, really, really wanted to talk about this to you guys because wearing this in warm weather... So when I got this, it was cold. I tested it on my skin. I didn't really think much of it. I tried it again on a hot day, and it actually has some crossovers to me with my favourite ever Lolita Lempicka Fleur de Fendu. Now that is basically, if you can imagine, an EDT formulation, so a light formulation of Lolita Lempicka with a sort of orchardy fruit note and a load of mimosa, powdery mimosa. So this has the star anise, which I think is giving the same as the anise and licorice that you get in Lolita Lempicka. It's giving that same vibe. And then the mimosa note here is, I'd say the mimosa note here smells almost identical to the mimosa note in the Lolita Lempicka Fleur de Fendu. So it's just lovely, but I do not need it because I have Fleur de Fendu and I have a backup of it because I love it that much. And I know it's only a pen spray, but I figured I might give this to someone that I think will love it because I really kept thinking about it, and I always feel like if you layered this with, like if you had the EDT version, for instance, of Lolita Lempicka, and you layered this with it, I think it would pretty much smell like Fleur de Fendu. I think you'd manage to recreate that perfume. If you don't have the EDT, then maybe even just like a very light spritzing of the actual Le Parfum with this, which is very light over the top, then you'd also get, I mean, it would probably be a bit sweeter and a bit stronger, but like you'd get something very similar. And I've not really smelled anything outside of actual other Lolita Lempickas, a lot of which have been discontinued. I haven't really smelt much that smells like Fleur de Fendu because it is so magical with that mimosa note. But this truly, like, really reminds me of it, and it has a beautiful sweetness that you get with mimosa. I mean, I think in terms of just like a mimosa perfume in warm weather, this is better than the Fragonard. Probably just because it's more to my taste, and I think that powdery sandalwood in it as well is really good. But yeah, the more it dries down, the more I'm like, okay. I think in cold weather I just got too much of the anise, like the star anise, and it's maybe smelled a little bit medicinal because of that, because that was quite strong. But the mimosa is so good in this in warm weather. So yeah, so what is that called again? Rue Paradis. Yeah, Rue Paradis from Lenaredes. Oh no, but this is what the bottle looks like if you get the full thing. I only knew about this because they had sample bottles, or not sample bottles, what they call tester bottles of these for like £25 ages ago, I'm afraid, on Direct Cosmetics. And then I went and had a look, and I think I managed to get these pen sprays for a good price from I think it was Makeup UK is where I managed to find these. So yeah, I just wanted to try them. I thought they looked interesting, but yeah, I mean, I just don't need it if it's reminding me of one that's already my favourite, and I have, like, you know, not quite 200 mils, but not far off 200 mils. So yeah, anyway, that is it for last week. I feel like this was a bit of a confused and rambly one. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to fit this in on an evening when I'm actually got time to do it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, despite the mad rambling and the possibly completely impossible to see labels and the out of focus for the first 5 minutes situation. Let me know what you've been wearing. Let me know if you've got any of these or if you've smelt them. And I will be back on Wednesday with the second week, where I have the things I travelled with. So I wore a few pen sprays. So I wore something you won't have seen before, and that is new to my collection, and some other bits that I just probably haven't worn for ages. So there, I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.